Hey everyone, I got my hands on the Razer Mamba and Firefly Hyperflux. Now, first thing I want to go over, when this was being shipped to me, I got an email from Razer saying that at this time there is no Synapse 3 support. It's not available to the public. It should be at the end of February. Now, with that in mind, I still decided to go ahead and do a review over this, even though the software side of things I can't really discuss. But do I really need to go over Synapse if you have had Razer products before? It's probably going to be the same thing. Just where you go to change colors for your chroma, or your side buttons, things like that. I don't see that being a need for me to stop the overall discussion and my thoughts and impressions on the Hyperflux technology itself and the mouse and the mouse pad, how they work together to create, quite honestly, an amazing experience. I also want to point out, whenever I unboxed it, I saw on the USB cable, now bear with me, I'm going to read this just so I get the caution or the warning label correct. It says, not to place this product on any metallic surface, not to place your cell phone, wireless charging dock, or any other metallic objects on the product itself, and not to place this product within 1 meter of a Wi-Fi router. Now, some of that may be like interference with the internet signal, but some of that also might mean something in this may be sensitive, or it may mess something up. Who knows? Like whenever you throw a magnet at a computer, it doesn't work very well. But with that being said, I really want to go over this mouse and this mouse pad combo. This thing's great. I'm gonna be honest up front. I love this thing. I'm currently using the Firefly Cloth Edition and the Razer Lance Head. I switch between the Razer Lance Head, the Naga for MMO stuff, obviously, but I also use the Logitech G900. It just depends on whatever mood I'm in. But primarily I've been using the Lance Head. But the Mamba, I had the previous version of the Mamba, the wireless one with the little light up base and the lines on the side, which looked like it was a gorgeous mouse, but it had some problems. It had quite a few problems. But this one, thankfully, is better than the previous version in every way. It fits better in my hand. I don't know if they changed the body size or my hand changed. I don't know, but it fits my hand perfectly. The ergonomics are really, really good. I've got medium-sized hands, so I know it can be, if you've got dinky hands, it might be a little uncomfortable. Large hands, I think you'll be fine still. It isn't a struggle for me to reach the side buttons, though I don't really have a need to hit them yet because, I can't get into Synapse to change, 1 and 2. So I am limited currently, but I know how it's going to work. So, it's not going to hinder my overall impression of this or review of this product. On the left side of the Mamba, you have 3 buttons. One is a profile switcher, and the other 2 are just your standard, key assignment side buttons. You also have 2 buttons on the back or behind the wheel, like most Razer mice or mice in general. They tend to have those buttons back there. And the scroll wheel tilts. Thank God it goes from left to right. The Lance Head, they did not have that feature. I got to where I used to use that a lot whenever I had the Mamba previously, and even the Naga Epic Chroma or whatever the new one is. I don't know, not the Trinity, but the other one. But I am thankful that they decided to bring it or carry it over again with the line of the Mamba mice. You also have a place to plug the USB cable, I guess in case your mouse pad just ups and stops working, years down the road or however long, let's say it just messes up and you're not stuck without a mouse. That could be the only reason why I would think that they would want this on there, because you don't need this plugged in at all. The lighting isn't too fancy on this version of the Mamba. Sadly, I would have liked it if it had the stripes going up the side like the other one did. But I get it. They're maybe trying to save as much energy use as possible for this technology, since the mouse doesn't have a battery in it. But it looks like there's only 2 sections that you could change. You've got your scroll wheel and the Razer logo on the back. Now, there's a green power light on the back of the mouse. It's just very subtle. It's pleasing to look at. And then you have a light for your profile switch. And I don't know if that changes colors yet. Again, I don't have Synapse to make new profiles or to test that side of it. But again, I don't see that as a big deal. I do know you will be able to change at least the scroll wheel color and the logo on the back. I don't know if you can change the power light, but both the mouse and the Razer and the Firefly mouse pad have green power indicator lights. Speaking of Firefly, this mouse pad is awesome. I didn't get to use the hard surface version, which was the first version of the Firefly. I did, however, purchase and am using the cloth edition of the Firefly, but that's going to change now that I have the Mamba and the Firefly Hyperflux combo. The Firefly has two sides that you can choose from. One is a hard surface, and now you can flip it over and there's a cloth side. Both of them feel amazing to use. The bottom of the base has this studded rubber feel to it, which allows the surface of, your surface to stick to the mouse pad frame or body, and it's not sliding anywhere. Now, I don't know how long those will stay sticky over time. I think that might wear out and stuff, but only time will tell. And who knows, if I start to notice it, starting to slide around like the Razer Invicta did. I used to have that, which was a double-sided mouse pad. That did slide around a little bit. It would drive me nuts because it was just a little bit of movement. It didn't fit snug after a lot of use, just wear and tear. But it didn't fill around the edges all the way like this hopefully will continue to do. The lighting of the Firefly is pretty much like the other versions of the Firefly. You only have, three sides and are kind of around the top corner. You do not have the top side or you don't have four sides of lighting. You just have the three. It sucks. I wish they would have just continued that around, but they don't still. And one thing that is different from the cloth edition Firefly and this one is it doesn't have that cool Razer logo on the top right corner. I get it. I know why they don't have that in this one, because you can flip it and it's, that just wouldn't work. But it is something that is missing, and I did like the look of that. But the overall body and the feel of the mouse pad, it's sturdy. It kind of has like a little bend to it, but it feels like high quality material. The top part of it where it has the Razer logo, it's very nice to look at. I love the aesthetics of both the Mamba and this version of the Firefly. On to performance. Now, I'm absolutely blown away with this product. I mean, the battery, there isn't a battery in the Hyperflux like any other wireless mouse. It's incredible the technology that they are able to do now. With it not having a battery like other mice, it makes this extremely lightweight and just allows it to glide across the surface. It's it's hard to explain unless you experience it. It's freeing, knowing that I don't have to worry about my mouse dying at all. Now, you may ask, well, if the Firefly charges the mouse and there's no battery, what happens when I'm, playing a game or doing something and I move my mouse up? You know how sometimes you'll just pick your mouse up to move it to another part of the mouse pad. What happens there? Well, you'll be happy to know that was one of the first things I tried out because I was really curious. And I was able to lift the mouse like a foot before it even, and let it linger before it even decided to shut off. I set it back down, and within like a second, it turns back on. And then I moved it up again, and I rubbed my hand, across the bottom of it, and it tracked. So there's something in there holding a little charge, obviously. But whenever you set it back down, and if you move it to the left or the right, whatever, and you set it down, it will shut off. It's really cool. And whenever you pick it up, there's no, how sometimes when you pick a mouse up from the mouse pad and it especially with Razer mice, the lance head does it to me. If the mouse is plugged in and I don't have the mouse on or whatever, it loses its tracking, it loses its position on the screen and goes somewhere else. This doesn't do that at all. I love it. I have used this mouse pretty much all day today. I got it around, I don't know, let's say, actually it's about 9 a.m. and I've used it all day, and it's now 11:30 at night. So never once did it have a hiccup or, you know, stutter, latency, none of that. Speaking of latency, you know, you're like, okay, this product is sounding really good, right? You know, there's got to be a catch. Surely there's something wrong, especially with it being a wireless mouse. And, you know, a lot of gamers out there don't like wireless mice because they don't feel like it's as responsive as having have it connected, you know, with a cable. But there's no latency that I noticed, like, at all. It's as soon as I move my mouse, it reacts to the screen, on the screen. Like, I can't state it clearly enough that there's no delay here. You have no reason anymore to say, well, I don't want a wireless mouse because it's not as precise or it's not as fast and responsive as a wired mouse. That is now bullcrap, because this is insanely quick. Razer really knocked it out of the park with this product. I mean, I really can't think of any negatives. Only that, you know, the software isn't ready. They released the product, but the Synapse software is not ready for this. That's a little weird, but okay, I'm an early adopter, I guess. Whenever I contacted support about, hey, where's the drivers? They said that I'm one of the first to have this thing. Please be patient. It's coming at the end of February. So, I can't knock this product for that because the software is coming. I 110% recommend this product. Yeah, it is a little pricey. Actually, it's pretty pricey. But I mean, if you think about it, you are getting a Firefly mouse pad, which those aren't cheap, and you're getting a wireless Mamba, which again, that's not cheap, and not to mention the technology that's added into this thing. I think it's worth it. I mean, you can shell the money out and see for yourself. I highly recommend it. I really don't think you'll be disappointed. And I also want to state that I used a different mouse on the mouse pad just to make sure there wasn't any issues. And I used the Razer Naga Epic Chroma, and it worked fine. The Logitech G900 worked fine. So there's nothing in this that's going to freak it out. So if you do like to use multiple mice like I do, I have my action-y game mouse, which is also my first-person shooter mouse. But then I have to have my Naga for any MMO, whether it's World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV. I've got to use my Naga. And speaking of Naga, Razer, if you are watching, I will buy a Naga with Hyperflux technology in an instant if you make it. So please, please, please make a Naga with this Hyperflux technology. But I'll be satisfied right now with the Mamba, and I really think you will be too.